Hey guys, welcome to episode 99.5 of 4PlayerAnimecast. We are almost at episode 100, but we are taking a detour for actually more than one reason.
I
But
thought
this
it,
is,
I thought it was because you didn't have anything planned and you shot down my ideas.
well, that was one of the reasons, and then we ended up getting more reasons. So,
Why didn't you want to do top 100 anime of the past 100 years? That was my idea.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because from 1918 to like 1950, you're not going to have anything.
also,
You're going to have
I'm
like,
not entirely sure if we want to list off top 100 anime, period, of anything.
I told you we could do 25 each. Each of us take 25 years.
I would still not want to do that. But anyways, so 99.5, or this in anime terms, this would essentially be like a recap slash commentary episode. But we are almost there to 100, and we'll try to make 100 the 100th episode special. Nier, unfortunately, is not with us today because he is feeling sick. He has, I think, a throat infection. Very unfortunate. Please wish him the best of recovery, or a fast recovery.
Yeah, he's got the ligma, according to Dark.
Shut up. And then, so anyways, this is the 11th of August, 2018, summer 2018 season. Things are going pretty strong. Everybody's in their 5th or 6th episodes. And we're going to be covering 3 of them today. All 3 of them somewhat middle of the road, I think. But anyways, I am your host, Spire. Dark?
hi,
He's
here.
a person. he is here.
I'm back from Shoukan.
What's Shoukan?
Shut up. Anyways, Toast. Toast is dead.
Nice,
Okay.
dude.
And then, so I guess we should just jump right into it. In terms of what I've been going through these past 2 weeks, I've been a little bit busy, but I have caught up actually in the nick of time of a couple of anime series, all of them that we actually didn't talk about in the past episodes. And they've all been varying from interesting to like, I think I'm gonna fucking barf, kind of. Like, just, they've not been good.
What did I cover last time? Was it
You
last
covered
Encore?
Grand Blue.
Oh,
No. You covered Grand Blue. You covered Encore the episode before that.
want me to
But yeah.
want me to cover last Encore again? I
No.
watched it in German this time.
No, shut up.
No.
But people are complaining about the usual Isekai stuff when they should have complained about it a lot earlier, right? And for obviously also slightly different reasons.
How many
But,
isekai were this season? I only count like one.
No,
I mean,
there's a few. There's
there's
Isekai Maou. There's season 2 of, or whatever, of,
But we don't
I
cover
don't remember what that other show was.
sequels.
Yes,
been-
but it turns out that other human beings will watch them.
Yeah. There's been a couple, but the issue is they often do stick out just because of how blatant that is, and that's part of the culture sort of surrounding the shosetsu into isekai kind of stuff. When
Wait, are you
editors-
talking about Overlord Season 3? That's good. Who says it's bad?
Well,
What are
Overlord
you
season
talking
3, but not that wasn't the one I was talking about. The one that I was referring to was it Ragnarok? Isn't that an isekai as well?
What?
Or is that just a fantasy?
I forget. Ragnarok. I think that's just straight fantasy. I'm not sure though. But
Whoops.
either way, there's definitely. Oh, Ragnarok. Oh no. Ragnarok's not season 2 though. That's what I was talking about with Hyakuren no How. That's not a new season. It's
Oh,
just
really?
like it's just a straight light novel adaptation, and it's very bad. But yes, Hyakuren no How to Seiyaku no Valkyria, which I did watch. I don't want to talk about it. It makes me barf. I don't want to ever just utter it. Just whatever. It needs
Just
to
let me
go.
ask, is it better than Thor Dark World? Because I didn't like
What?
Thor Dark World.
What?
Is it better
What are
than
you
Thor Dark World?
Is Ragnarok better than Thor Dark
Oh
World?
my god. Shut up, dude. Anyways. Yeah, it's very hard to make it through episode 1. But anyways, the point is that people talk about Isekai. They don't know what it is. They kind of hate it for the wrong reasons. But it is still going on. It's pretty toxic culture.
Wait, who hates Isekai? Let me talk to them.
Shut up, Tuss. You're autistic.
I think a lot of people do. I'm gonna be honest.
There are a couple of series there's a series I actually do want to talk about in the upcoming episodes that it might be pretty decent. It had a pretty interesting start, but that might be really nice. I should say no Subaru Seven Senses of the Reunion. But this time around, I'm going to be talking about one of the humor series of the season or comedy series of the season, Chio-chan no Tsuugakuro. So look out for that. And yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to these past 2 weeks. Dark.
I've been keeping up with like everything.
Okay.
Haven't really started any new. I don't think,
has
except for what I'm
anything, like
discussing
notable popped up in terms of like plot points or anything like that?
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, like I don't really think anything
Most
crazy
of
has
them are pretty
happened.
straightforward. Yeah, most of them are pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah,
Stuff
I
that
mean,
we've seen before. Plot twist that we've
yeah,
seen.
especially stuff from this season. I would say the only the real thing of note might be that what's it called? Coming to like a roundup or a head. Holy fuck, can't even remember the show. The cooking one where it's almost otome, or it's otome, but not kind of sort of.
Shokugeki no Soma?
No.
Gal Gohan?
Yeah, Shokugeki no Soma, the otome
something
show.
Patissier.
No, no, no.
Is it the one with Rina
the,
Sato?
the one with the no. The fucking
Well,
one from last season. Oh my god, I can't remember it. I actually really like it too. With the yokai world and shit or whatever. The Oni. She's the
I
ogre
think I
bride.
know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking
I've
about. Yeah.
yeah, I
Isn't
can't.
it with the N?
Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
why
that
I
one.
can't remember of it at all.
I know what you're talking about, but I forgot.
Yuragi-so? That's this season.
No, that's
No,
not it. That's not what he's talking about, dude. It's I know what he's talking about. No, keep going. Just
yeah, but anyway, so like that's sort of coming to a head, but it's still introducing the character. Why not? Yeah. Other than that, I feel like everything this season that I've been watching has been pretty solid. More so
okay.
than I expected. I'm still on the lookout for that. Oh God, what was that werewolf show with the vampires? I forgot the name of it, so I haven't been able to look it up as well. But yeah, I feel like that's
This
the
is where
last
Nier would come into
show
play
that I'm kind of
by understanding what it is.
but I think that's the last show I'm like really looking for this season. So whenever I figure that one.
Was it Garo or whatever it's called? Is that what it's called? No.
It's not Garo, but maybe it is. I don't know. Either way, there's only a few other shows I think that might have not been released yet this season, but other than that, I'd say everything I've watched has been solid. And today I'm going to be covering Tsukumogami, which I did just start watching this week as well.
By the way, the series that you mentioned for yokai, I think Session's got it. Breakfast for Spirits, I believe.
Yeah, Kakudio or something. Bed and Breakfast for
Kakurio,
Spirits.
oh yes, that might be the name. You might be getting onto this. Yes.
Also, Dark.
Yes,
The other
Kakurio no
series you talked
Yadomeshi.
about
Yes.
was Sirius the Jaeger. Is that it?
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Session is our anime namer. our official, both our unofficial and our official 4PlayerAnimecast anime reference namer / referencer. Here.
Look,
But
the other thing I've been doing has been playing Monster Hunter. So
yes, Monster Hunter World came out 2 days ago, right?
For PC, and Nier and I already beat the first part of the story and got into high rank in one sitting. I believe we played it for about 10 hours or 11 hours straight. It was pretty intense, and that might be why he's sick. Who knows?
What did you do to his throat?
Dude, monsters, right? Like, you can't just fight monsters all day and not expect to get sick, you know?
Maybe
Anyways.
you should have drank some warm drinks. Hot drinks.
Monsters carry Bofa. Little known fact. Might contract it from them.
Anyways, thank you, Dark. We'll get to Tsukumogami later. And Toast.
Hello.
What have you been up to these past 2 weeks?
I watched Fate Last Encore in German again.
In German again.
Okay.
You haven't watched it in German.
Yeah, I did. It's the second time now.
What other stuff have you watched?
What's wrong with you?
Listen. Sometimes you have to
can
be
you tell me what other stuff that
multicultural
you watched, Toast?
in order to understand the true essence of anime.
Toast.
Huh?
What else did you watch?
I don't know.
Okay, good stuff. Anyways,
You mean new stuff or old stuff? Because I watched a bunch of old stuff.
General, what'd you do? Well,
Uh,
how was
anything
your
this
week?
season?
when I cook, I watch episodes of Rurouni Kenshin to set the mood.
All right.
I'm already getting a headache here. Did you watch anything from this season?
And also, my dog got sprayed by a skunk.
Did you watch
It was
anything
unpleasant.
this season?
What? I'm trying to remember what was part of this season.
Maybe the series that you also watched and you're going to cover? That would be nice. That would be a good start.
Imagine that if you kept up with a certain Isekai series.
Kumo Deska Nani just got like their PV, so that's not out.
Yes, that's not this season. So you want to take another swipe at it? I don't know.
You know,
I'm gonna keep
you're
pulling
getting
everyone.
warmer. It's an Isekai.
I'm just gonna keep pulling everyone of Toast's teeth until like fucking this comes out.
What's it called?
This is no longer like a teeth extraction. This is like I'm just like removing his entire jaw right
All
now.
right. So, like, what'd you think of Isekai Maou?
It's all right.
How many times did you watch that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be covering that. So yeah, I'm gonna be
Technically,
covering
I watched it twice so far.
I don't even
Alright.
want to watch it once. It's not even that good.
Like I watched it in Japanese, and then I watched How Not to Summon a Demon Lord in English. That was a wild ride.
That seems like not very good. But anyways, Toast is gonna be covering Isekai Maou to Shoujo.
How Not
yeah,
to Summon a Demon Lord, Spy. We
It's-
speak English in here.
It's Isekai Maou to Shoukan Shoujo Dorei Majutsu. So yeah.
The heck does that translate to?
It means a demon lord from another world, and essentially female slave summoning man is sort of how it's translated.
Roughly translates to "Oops, all slaves."
It translates into okay, our production, the publisher can't do this, so we need another title. It's like, anyways,
Which one was translated as Hyaka Ryoran Samurai Girls, or
Shaka Ryoran Samurai. It's like
was that
I
Magikoi?
know.
What was
no,
Magikoi's
that's
English
not
name?
Majikoi, dude. Shaka. Oh my god.
What was Majikoi's? Was that just
What?
Samurai Girls?
It's O Samurai Girls. I
Oh,
think.
that's even worse.
It's literally called O Samurai Girls, I believe, in English. But anyways, Tosu will be covering Isekai Maou to Shoukan Shoujo Torei Majutsu in our episode. And I guess let's just jump right into it. Dark, why don't you go first?
Do I have to?
No, I'll go first.
You want Toast?
Yeah,
You want me to go first?
Can we have Toast go first?
Toast. No,
Get
Toast,
that
you're
out of the
going last.
way.
No.
Sure.
We're Dark. You're going first because
Do you want to go first?
Why do you not want to go first?
Because to break the wall down here, I'm fighting an Anjanath right now, so I can't actually look
my
up Maul
God.
information.
All right. No, I have the mall information right here.
Okay, you have the Maul information for
he's
Tsukumogami
busy.
and how it lists
Yeah.
only 3 voice actors? Sick.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
He's
exactly.
busy, so you
I
have
have
to take the
A&M.
reins.
Too.
Okay, so yeah, so keep A and N up because I'll probably need that for some of the characters.
Yes.
Because, so I watched the full title, that name, I can't pronounce the second part, or slash it escapes me. But basically, like, it's from this season, so everyone's probably going to call it Tsukumogami.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tsukumogami Kashimasu, or also known as in English, We Rent Tsukumogami.
That is a
Yeah.
That is
man. These
actually a
English titles are
transliteration.
really bad.
No, this one is a transliteration, but it's I mean, it's not great. You know what I mean? It doesn't
if it
sound.
was going to be anything, it would just be Tsukumogami Rental.
Yeah, they see. Why don't English? Is this the same reason why we had really bad localization for Goemon 64?
Well, I mean, in general, it's the reason why we have bad subs for Crunchyroll and stuff like that, too, where apparently hiring an actual English speaker is taboo or something.
Is it a problem of localization, or is it people, or is it the Japanese language too hard to translate into English language sometimes?
Well, unfortunately, that second, the latter is, not to get too sidetracked, but the latter is kind of irrelevant just because when you're editing, like, if you're to edit a script, someone who's editing a script that's already translated doesn't really, like, knowing Japanese is a bonus, but really you should have someone that knows English primarily. Because, yeah, like I said, if you were to get a title like, We Rent Tsukumogami, someone would probably just be like any native English speaker would just be like, couldn't you just title it Tsukumogami Rental? And that would probably
that would pretty much be
rolls
the
off the
best
tongue a
choice.
little bit better.
I mean,
So-
it's an anime company. They're not known for English or anything that's not glorious Nihongonese. So you must forgive them.
Have you heard of this anime called Boku no Hero Academia, where people just call it My Hero Academia?
Boku no My Academia.
Boku no My Hero. Boku no My Hero Pika.
I mean, us true intellectuals just call it Hero Aka, not MHA. That's
Right, let's go.
that's
Keep
like
going,
Monster Hunter alternative.
Dark. Keep going.
If we're on this topic,
Yeah.
let me talk about this weird game called.
No, shut up.
No, we're not on
Have you
that
heard?
topic
Have you
at
heard of
all.
Live
Oh,
Alive?
shut the fuck up. Shut up. Okay, go on.
Anyway. But yeah, so I watched. I'll just call it Tsukumogami Rental. So I watched that. Basic premise is that it's a brother and foster sister, that now own a rental shop in. I forget what the city is, but it's in the Edo period.
Is it Kyoto or Tokyo? Or is it
Check this
Edo?
Oh, maybe it is Edo. What period is this in? Isn't it Edo as well?
I
Something.
think it is Edo period. I'm not sure though. Give me a second. Oh yeah, it is. It is. The series is set during the Edo period in the Fukugawa ward of Old Edo, which is present-day Tokyo.
Okay, so it's
So-
Tokyo.
Yeah. So, and the reason why they own the rental shop is because of fires in the city, since houses are so close together and fires are prone to break out. People don't really want to have very expensive belongings in most cases. So they rent things that are like, I would say, ornaments or pipes, just pretty much anything.
Right, exactly.
Anything under the sun.
Mhm.
Now, I guess to get into things, first and foremost, it's not. It's strange. I don't really know exactly how to describe the series. It's very episodic. And it seems to be like each episode is always like a mystery involving an external Tsukumogami.
Is
So,
it an actual mystery or is it just like a detective series? You know what I mean by detective series, right?
No.
So what I mean is that mystery is like they focus around the specific, setup and solution of the mystery, and
Actually,
the
yes.
audience can do parts of this. And detective is just like, oh, the detective is so smart, and then he just does exposition of all the things at the end. But the audience is like, I never saw that. What the fuck is that? Kind of, you know what I mean?
It's weird because it's a bit of both. So it starts out essentially like the route that the show seems to run in most cases is someone will come to the shop and they'll be like, "Hey, I need your help. Like something's like some weird thing is happening with something I have." Like one guy comes in and he's like, my wall scrolls are changing every day. And
So it's
the
kind of like
shopkeeper.
Yokai Watch then.
Okay, I mean, there could probably be similarities drawn. Not super familiar with Yokai Watch like as a show or anything, so can't really speak on that. But basically, what winds up happening is the shop itself has the Tsukumogami in it that they took in.
Right, exactly.
So what usually happens is the Tsukumogami overhear what's happening, and since they're really nosy, they always want to know what's going on and to solve the mystery. Mm-hmm. And so then the shop owners will rent out the items to those people to help them, essentially, without telling them. They'll just say, hey, you have to take some of these items, and like this should actually solve the problem. And so usually it's like they'll give it one go and the Tsukumogami will gather information and then they'll come back and gossip about it and then the shop owners will overhear it. Because they can't speak to the Tsukumogami directly. Because they're just they haven't really said why. It's just that they won't answer to them. It's weird because it's like the Tsukumogami know that the humans can hear them and see them. These particular the brother and stepsister.
Mm-hmm.
They're aware that they can hear them, and they're aware that they would be able to see them, and they're aware that they're working together on these things. But for some reason, when they try and directly contact each other, all the Tsukumogami will turn back into their normal item.
So it's like Toy Story.
Like a period of time.
Snap.
Not really, because in Toy Story they don't know. So,
but
in that case, in a way,
they know the powers are there, but it's like
yeah, they know that all these different Tsukumogami are there, and that's why they keep them around.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's kind of how like an episode goes. The Tsukumogami will go out, it'll come back, it'll gossip. They'll like start like gears will start turning, and they'll be like, I wonder what's going on here. Like, what is the problem? Like, why are these wall scrolls, these like ink paintings, switching like characters and getting into like different
so
like
weird. What I'm curious about is how is it more a comedy-based mystery or is it like?
It's comedy and trivia. So, what'll happen is, like for the scroll episode, they have figures whose names I don't remember. And so they have slight trivia on that. And like that is resolved by them using a scroll of one of their Tsukumogami, the guy, if you can see the visual on the top right, the yellow big moon dude.
Mm-hmm.
They use him because they find out that all of the other characters from the scrolls are fighting over what is it, Princess Kaguya?
Princess Kaguya,
yeah, because she's coming out and she's looking out the window trying to see the moon, but she can't see it from the house.
So they're tying it back to the story or the Japanese like traditional story shit.
Yeah, and they also in between they give some minor trivia on like scroll and
No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so there's comedy, but it's not super heavy on it, and it's not like usually. Yeah, it's not really the focus, and maybe there'll be some comedy. Usually the Bat Tsukumogami is kind of the comedic foil.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather he's used as like a comedic tool because they always constantly him gather information since he's a bat and can fly around easily.
Right.
But like for like, what was it? Maybe it was the scroll episode, but one of the episodes, no, it was a different episode. They have him go out and gather all this information, even though he doesn't really want to. But then he comes back and he's like, hey guys, I have important information. and they're like, now's not the time for that. The humans are upset. Okay, can't be talking about that. And then at the end of the episode, they find out that they're only upset because of like a misunderstanding,
Mhm.
or the brother is only upset because of a misunderstanding, and then the bat knew the entire time.
Oh.
And he was like, "Yeah, this is why." Like, but of course, all the other Tsukumogami are like, "Why didn't you tell us?" He was like, "I'm never helping you again." So
Right, exactly.
there's usually some stuff like that.
There's some back
And
and
then
forth, but it's like,
yeah, the focus seems to be more of like Edo period trivia and like Tsukumogami trivia.
So like episodic sort of slice of life focused around the sort of the shop and its various like trivia and like the traditional tales is what you're saying.
Yeah, it seems to.
Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, yeah, it kind of reminds me of how series like Kamen Year, for instance, kind of try to roll it where it's like they're trying to rely on that pace more than they are trying to focus it on, oh, this needs humor or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's much more focused on like how to weave sort of comedy and trivia to serve the story, which is nice. What else? So the other thing is, I guess, like the character interactions between the Tsukumogami are really nice, because they're like fully fledged characters. They're not really like super caricature-y either. Like obviously they have certain moments of it, and they all have their own sort of shtick in a way. Like the rabbit comb Usagi, like she's really chatty and says too much in a
Right.
lot of ways and winds up upsetting people. But in general, they're kind of like the way they play off of each other, and at the end of the day, even though they all have different personalities, they're all really like just more interested in like solving a mystery together.
Right. At the end of the day, they have to solve the episodic mystery. Like they have to actually get down and do it.
Yeah, so seeing sort of their different personalities work off of each other during those investigations has been pretty nice.
And they're not always. I mean, the interactions aren't used to only really bring out comedy, right? They're also used to sometimes bring out other stuff. Is what you're trying to get at? Yeah.
They'll be used to bring out trivia. They'll be used to bring out like character development for them essentially. Because they're not.
Because
They're
usually
much
the
more.
interactions are very focused on bringing out the comedy. You know what I mean? In these sorts of series, yeah.
Well, yeah, especially since they're Tsukumogami, you wouldn't think that they would really have character development, like full-fledged episodes based on like one of them as like for character development.
Right, exactly.
So that's nice. I would say the other major features of the show would probably be, because I don't really know how far it's going to go with it, but there is romance between the two main characters, the brother and stepsister.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how, obviously, like, I don't know how fucking far it's going to go, because it's not all out yet. Hopefully it goes somewhere, because, like, it's leading on, I feel like it's leading on in almost every single episode a bit too much to where it's like, if this doesn't go anywhere, that would kind of be a shame.
Right, like the development, you mean?
Yeah, like there's been slight developments more and more, and it's like obviously it's referenced in every single episode that there's something there, but we haven't seen really anything yet.
Right, we need to have the proof in the pudding, like at least one time explicitly. It doesn't need to be like all over the place, but yeah.
Yeah. It's been more of like each character separately has like a moment rather than sort of the two actually having a romantic simultaneous.
Right, exactly.
So, who do you ship each? With Tsukumogami with.
What?
The comb and the bat.
Nice.
Okay, so any last words, Dark, about the series?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a couple. I have like a short little bit more. Because it's not like just the characters. I think the art's pretty good. I think the audio visuals are nice. I think the music is really nice. Overpowering at times, but does have distinct soundtracks like that I think are pretty nice and noticeable.
Right.
I'm not really someone who enjoys like I think when a soundtrack is quote unquote invisible and doing its job, to me personally, that's kind of boring.
Right. Because it's just like.
I think that's fine if the rest of the series can carry it.
Mhm.
But when I watch a series and like I hear a soundtrack and it takes me out of it, I actually enjoy that more in a way, as long as it still complements the scene.
Right,
Which I do feel like.
because the issue is like if it's not good enough for it to be noticeable, and then when you do notice it, you're like, yeah, this isn't very good. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like a reverse, like
Yeah, or it's like, why is this in this scene?
yeah, exactly,
Like that's
exactly.
really weird.
Yeah, I get you.
There's only been one like that like has a moment in the soundtrack that was kind of weird for the scene, but overall, it still was a good song for it. So I would say that has been a more standout part of it.
Okay.
It's OP is sort of on that other end of it where it's really fucking weird why they would choose this song. It was what I had linked in the Discord not too long ago. It's the track "Get Into My Heart" by Miyavi. And if you know the artist Miyavi, or however you pronounce, it doesn't fit a slice of life series whatsoever. If you're unfamiliar but have seen our some of our previous episodes or previous season episodes, because I don't think this was from last year. But oh god, no, never mind. Don't even remember the name of the series now either. The one with the fucking alternate reality, the time stop.
JoJo's Revived Stardust
No,
Crusaders?
not JoJo, not Stardust Crusaders, dude. Definitely not that.
The alternate reality with the time stop.
No, it wasn't alternate reality. It was like the time. It was the time stop, but
Are you
like
talking about
that
the
one
cult?
family could move in it. Yeah, with the cult.
Oh,
That was
that
like one
one.
of my. That was like one of my favorite series too.
Near
That season.
Kokoku.
Yeah, Kokoku. There
Graffiti.
you go.
No?
Nope, not that one either.
Not at all. Not even
But
close.
yes. So Kokoku, the OP for that was also me. So the songs are different, obviously, but it's still that same. It's still the same artist, so it doesn't fit the Slice of Life series for sure. As described by a fine user on Maou, even though they're wrong, but they said the series is nothing special, but it does have the littest OP.
The most of the lists.
Yeah, so take that for what you will.
Just
Yeah,
because you're
check
wrong
it out,
doesn't
definitely.
mean you're correct.
God damn. All right. Anyway,
but as a
yeah.
closing statement, I would say audio visuals are nice. Voice acting is really good.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd have to see who the voice actors are for the Tsukumogami. They're familiar, but I just don't know them. I would say this is a series to keep an eye on, especially if you like slice of life.
What if you like Toy Story? Because this sounds like Toy Story.
This is also a series to keep an eye on too.
All right.
As sort of like out there, that comparison might seem. It does have that element to it in a way, where it's like the Tsukumogami are going off and doing it. Obviously, there's differences,
they're sort of paving their way into the real world. It's sort of how also Toy Story kind of does it, right? It's like in a similar way. It's sort of like that, I guess.
And yeah, so in this sense, it is actually similar in some of the interactions and some of like the themes they tackle with like the usefulness of the Tsukumogami themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, definitely do check that out. As Dark said, if you want to try out something a little bit more interesting, definitely not one of the standard series for this season. And with that, we will move on to, I guess, what I'm covering, which is Chio-chan no Tsuugakuro. So Chio's School Road in English. That's a transliteration. This is supposed to be
this is the one. This is the one where she's always late to school and then she goes on some wacky hijinks, right?
No, she's
Yes.
not. She's not late. She's never late to school.
Yes.
As a matter of fact.
Technically, she's never late. Yes, but she gets hampered. A lot of stuff is how it is. But yeah, so again, sort of a otaku bookworm girl goes on her way to school. She meets, or she happens upon a lot of very weird stuff. So then she has an adventure, but at the end of the day, she kind of ends up making it to school in time. So that's sort of how it's done. It's being covered by Dio Media. In terms of the casting, it's pretty. There's a decent amount of again, not necessarily like super veterans or something like that, but people who have worked in the industry for like or people who have done mainstream anime for 1 or 2 years. So pretty good cast. There's a little bit of new blood into it, but I appreciate that. And it is again this episodic sort of more. It's not fully surreal, but it is verging more on this more unusual Nausicaa surrealistic humor. As Chio goes to tries to go to school every day, and then she draws upon sort of her experiences, what she did last night, and she's just like, oh man, I couldn't wake up early to go to school because of these things that happened last night while I was gaming or something like that, right? And then she thinks up of sort of wacky hijinks like getting up on the rooftop or meeting this yakuza and then having to deal with it or whatever it is, right?
So it's all in her mind. It's not real.
No, it's
real.
It's real.
Good. Because if it was all in
surreal.
her mind, that'd be a deal breaker.
That'll be interesting. But yeah, that's sort of what happens. As for my review on it, so there was an interesting thing I was actually looking over while we were setting up this episode and we were talking about stuff like that. And somebody did a review of Chia's School Road, and the general idea was just like, there's too much repetition and it needs to throw new stuff into the mix. I disagree. I think the formula is there and it's pretty obvious, but it doesn't suffer by repetition. I think it suffers because it is, how do I say this? It's sort of focusing on the wrong thing. So it's supposed to be a comedy series, but via, this surrealism, right? Or near surrealism. But the issue is it relies on just it being lightly surreal too much. And it ends up being this sort of like very sort of almost like Diet Coke mixed with water, sort of very mild surrealistic kind of thing that is not really even focused on being humorous as much as it is in being wacky, which are two different things. You know what I mean? So it's like they're not really focusing on making jokes or making funny scenes. They're just like, oh man, what if like a yakuza looked at this girl and he was like super threatened and stuff like that. And he or what is it, like if a yakuza was threatening this girl and then the girl threatened back, like what would happen then? And while that is wacky, it is not necessarily funny. So I think that's sort of a flaw that the writer and obviously the script writers have in dealing with this series and its humor.
So you're saying that it lacks a sense of realism, or you can relate to and be like, haha, that's funny.
No, it's not even about realism. It's like it doesn't need to be realistic. It's just that the series focuses on doing wacky stuff, but the wacky stuff isn't necessarily that funny. You know what I mean?
I would say it tries to use it tries to play up the situation itself too much more than sort of like the dialogue,
wacky, instead of trying to find sort of this is why it's funny. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Like one thing I would like, a series that I would mention that has repetition and has a very simple format throughout the episodes, but it's still funny is Tanshi Kokosei no Nichijou, or Daily Lives of High School Boys, right? where it is very repetitive. Like, it has similar sections. The way the humor is delivered is very, very similar. The characters are relatively static. They're not like developing really or anything like that. But they still run the same humor because they know how to be like, oh, look, here's the humor in this, in this segment or mini-ep or whatever it is. But I think Chio-chan no Tsugakuro unfortunately fails to do that, even though it has interesting setups. Like, it has these starts where it's, oh man, how do I, get to school on time by doing XYZ? But then it just kind of keeps on going about how wacky the situation is, instead of being like, sort of, helping to inject more stuff like slapstick or non sequitur or deadpan sort of humor into it. You know what I mean? So that's, I think, what could be done better, in my opinion. But Dark, you were trying to say something earlier, right? It was about
Well, yeah, I mean, it was pretty much on that same line where it plays the situation more than like anything else.
Mhm.
It tries to, like you said, be like, oh, wow, wouldn't it be crazy if, like she did this? And yeah, it is like that's pretty wacky. Some of the situations can be pretty funny. Like I thought the bike, uh, just the lead up to sort of her like knocking over a biker gang, like motorcycle. I thought the whole situation was all right. Um,
Yeah,
I
I
thought
mean,
that
I
section was
don't think,
okay.
I don't
It's
think
just
it's,
that,
I don't think it's bad. Like, I'm like looking at it, I'm like, this is interesting. Like, I'm getting like slight chuckles out of this sometimes, but it's not like, it's harder to call it like a full blown comedy. It's harder to approve of it as like a full blown comedy series or anything like that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Yeah.
yeah, because it doesn't really it doesn't commit sort of the characters in a lot of cases to the comedy itself. It's almost as if like you have sort of a almost like a general slice of life character
For
thrown into a comedy, and it's like, well, full on like slapstick and
yeah,
stuff like
she's
that.
not going to interact like
Situations,
that. Yeah, she's
yeah,
not going to
full on
interact like
situations are happening around the character, but the character in a lot of ways won't fully commit to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I would say as far as like a comparison would go, I would compare it almost to Umaru, but like a little bit better.
Oh yeah, Umaru is just like, well, Umaru. The issue is, it's like Umaru had like an interesting start. I think it had a slightly more interesting start than Chio-chan no Tsugakuro, but the issue was Umaru-chan wore out the welcome rug very, 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 very quickly.
Yeah.
Like by, a couple rounds, and you're just like, oh my God, just stop this. Just stop this.
It was also another thing that kind of happened too with that is that I feel like Chio-chan, I don't know how far you got, but I'm fully caught up on the series, and like I think one of the more enjoyable parts of it is that the main characters are generally all like just horrible people.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I think
like
I think
they're
I think the characters are like if this wasn't supposed to be focused around comedy, I think they would be like fine characters though. That's the thing. Like
yeah, yeah.
I'm just like listening to them like talk about this. I'm just like, yeah, I would listen to this, but I wouldn't be like, wow, this is so fucking funny. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and that and
That's the
that's
problem.
sort of what I was saying, where like I'm watching it more from like a slice of life standpoint than I
Yeah,
am
yeah,
comedy.
exactly.
Especially with shows like Asobi Asobase this
Yeah,
season
yeah.
being like the full on comedy where there's really no way you can approach that show from like a slice of life standpoint. And in my opinion, just because it's like you can't really there's no like breathing room, whereas in Chio, I feel like there's quite a lot of moments where it is almost pure slice of life in a way.
Right.
Which is another like kind of strange thing because, like you said, they have these really wacky moments, but then in the same episode you have some like pretty like you have really really tame stuff, like just sections of really tame stuff.
Yeah, we were just like kind of just talking about like cute, like not cute as in like I mean as in like in a conservative sense. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're just kind of like talking, and you're like, yeah, I mean makes sense. I guess I'm getting a slight chuckle out of it, but I'm not. It's like yeah, I guess. But yeah, it's I think it's as you said, or as Dark said, if you watch it with like a much more slice of life perspective instead of a comedy perspective, I you would definitely enjoy this more, and I suggest you do that if you do want to watch it. But if you are looking for like comedies, a much more full blown comedy series, I would suggest watching Asobi Asubase, rather than this one, because this is definitely not what you're going to get if you are looking for that sort of full on blown comedy.
Yeah, it's not it's the problem is that it also tried to like market itself as the what did you call it? Like absurd, like absurdist sort of thing? Yeah, surrealistic. Yeah, which it's like not a lot of in the series is all that surreal.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially compared to
it's like super wacky, but it's not like oh man, like I can't like there's actually no way this happens kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like it's completely unbelievable. Like one of the most recent episodes had Chio trying to like shimmy along a bridge with her hands or whatever the term would be for that, and to like mess with her friend by calling her name, and then like halfway through crossing she was like, I actually can't support my weight anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there's stuff like that, and it's like that's not really surreal.
Exactly.
It's more of like a slapstick moment than anything, but it's certainly not surreal as, you know, especially when compared to something like Asobi Asobase.
What about
I guess
compared to Plastic Nesan?
I haven't actually seen that yet. Have you, Spire?
I've seen like first episode of it, but I think it's definitely not like again, Plastic Nissan is much more focused on comedy. It's actually funny, definitely more or less consistently. But it's not like it's very very different. Like it's not what you're expecting. But as I said, if you come with it, or as again Dark said, if you come with it expecting a much more chilled out slice of life, kind of then the girl is kind of talking about, you know, what they're going through as they see these surreal things happen in front of them, or surrealistic things happen in front of them, then I think you'll enjoy it a lot more. So that's sort of my last take on it.
Yeah, I would say closing comment for me would just be bear with the game shit in the beginning, because it does get at least a little bit better.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it's really basic stuff for game, but I feel like the game trivia gets a little bit better over time.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's like they can't. I feel like in a way they're almost afraid to go too far with the reference, because
Right.
they reference in the first episode
Well,
Assassin's Creed.
it's also not a focus.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not the focus, but like when she was doing certain things based on the game she's played,
Mm-hmm.
you can very easily and clearly tell what game they're referencing, like whether it be Assassin's Creed, or at one point, since they're only able to reference Assassin, they're referencing Hitman. Because of like she has like a fantasy of like garroting someone and then taking his clothes to like make an escape.
Exactly.
So like that's kind of to me an unfortunate part that makes it seem a lot more surface than it really is.
Mm-hmm.
With some of the references, it makes it seem more like Umaru, where, you know, in Umaru you get something like, "Hey guys, you know, racing games? How about them?" And it's like, "Yeah, I've drive a car in them for sure, but what else? You got anything else?" So
Right, exactly.
I feel like even from that standpoint, Chio-chan does go a little bit further, though it may not seem as apparent from the beginning.
Yeah. It definitely develops more than, again, even like a more I mean, like, again, if you're expecting a more comedy like series, Chio-chan develops much more strongly later on, which is kind of unexpected for that. So, but yeah. Anyways, again, if you want to check out something a little bit more slice of life, please check that out. Last and definitely least, we're going to cover Toast series. Toast, what do you want to talk about? Isekai Maou, Shoukan, Shoujo, Dorei, Majutsu, so known as How Not to Summon Demon Lord in English. It is a web novel adaptation. It got adapted into all shousetsu. Again, where all fucking cesspools of series come from. It got adapted into a light novel. I believe it became a manga before there is a manga, right? And then there's an anime now. That's the thing. I forget who it's done by. It's done by Silverlink, right? Is it Silverlink?
So. Are you there, Toast?
We need you to actually be knowledgeable about the series that you're talking about. That'll be good. Thanks. It is by Ajado, which is probably a tier 2, tier 3 studio. I don't think they've really worked on anything except for this one as like their main production. I'm not liking the sound of that, honestly, to be honest. But you know, a lot of big names kind of butting their heads into this, right? But other than that, it's a pretty standard. I mean, I have not watched. I have read pretty much all of it that has come out, essentially.
Doesn't that just make you a bigger fan?
No, it's called Stockholm Syndrome.
I wouldn't read it if you weren't a big fan.
It's called Stockholm Syndrome. I don't know what else to say, Final Thumb. But yeah, it's standard. I mean, the structure is very much standard isekai. Protagonist gets cheap powers. He's stuck with a bunch of girls that are just like, man, why are you stuck here with us? Or why is he stuck with us? And then you come to like him, and then stuff happens. He saves the kittens from a tree like a couple billion times, and they're like, wow, you're a great guy. And then stuff happens, right? And then he defeats the demons and some other baddies, and then they're like, you're an even nicer guy than we thought. And then the whole usual thing happens, right, with the isekai power fantasy stuff. But then the only slight twist is that his interactions are kind of not really guided by the fact that he's like super awkward when he's trying to be when he's doing anything that's not like Demon Lord-ish, like I'll destroy the world, or like he'll be super awkward in his mannerism. So they're essentially making the MC into tsundere, right?
Let me stop you there, Spire. Are we even talking about the same series?
Shut the fuck up. So Toast doesn't really know anything about this series, so let me keep talking.
If you want to talk about the whole thing, then like go ahead. If you don't
wow,
want me to talk...
imagine that! Imagine covering the entire series on this podcast in which we cover a
Spire,
series.
if you want to talk about this whole thing by yourself, then go ahead. But I'm just gonna talk about it next week, so you can have your fun, or you can let me talk about it. Whatever.
I'm just giving the summary, so you can get a review.
Your summary's kind of lacking. Like
there's nothing lacking
in what?
What is actually wrong with my summary? It's a standard isekai, dude. Like, I don't know.
Standard compared to what? Because I can think of even more standard than what the one you're talking about is.
Okay, but that would be why he then described the MC, because the MC's situation is the unique part of the series.
I literally listed out why it was a standard isekai right after I just said it was a standard isekai. Like, I don't know how else to put a standard isekai. He's going through a power fantasy. He's stuck with a bunch of girls that initially don't know why he's stuck with them. And then he saves the kittens from a tree. And then because he saves the kittens from a tree, they're like, wow, he's a really nice guy. And then they go through some suspension bridge stuff. And then he gets stuck with them. He beats some baddies. He beats some more baddies. And this vicious cycle continues where they're like,
so are you going to just talk about the light novel, or are you going to talk about the anime adaptation?
It's the same
That would be
thing.
up
It's
to
straight
you,
Adam.
though.
I mean, if Spire would stop talking and let me do it, otherwise, because it seems like
he's just giving the introduction. He's just giving the introduction.
All right, you want to give me?
How do you feel about? Yeah, is there anything different in the adaptation? And what do you like about it? There you have it.
Tuss, would you like to?
Spire, are you going to be like this the entire time, or do you actually want me to talk about it? Because if you want to, then go right ahead. You can talk about it. I'll let you do that.
Tuss, there's nothing different in the anime, right?
Are you going to be like this or not? Are you going to let me talk, or are you just going to be really this way?
Like, what am I saying that's even wrong? Like, I don't understand. What do you want to summarize, Tuss? I've summarized everything in the series, right? Okay, then let's review it. What do you like about the series?
Like, this was essentially the same thing that happened with Tsukumogami.
Yeah.
The rundown of the series, and then talk about the show.
So Tuss right now, unfortunately, is being difficult. I apologize to the listeners out there because he doesn't like the way I'm criticizing the series. Unfortunately,
that's not the point about what I'm. You know what? Just keep going. Go ahead.
Okay, what's different about the anime? I haven't watched the anime, so I'm like, this is an honest question. Is there anything different in the anime from the light novel? Like, I'm seriously asking. Isn't the anime a straight adaptation of the light novel?
I would know because I haven't read the light novel. So with what you're going on about how this is all this and that, and you're telling me something completely different than what I've been watching.
I mean, I haven't described anything in specific, right? But yeah, okay. So what? I mean, is there anything that's different from what I described? Like it's just saving kittens from a tree, and then the girls like him, right? The girls don't like him because they're like what? Like, what else do they like him for? Right? Like, they don't like him because he has the sexy abs, right? Like, what did you want me to say, Tuss? I'm not going to sit here and be like, okay, well, this isekai is really different because he's a demon lord. No, he's a power fantasy MC. Like, it's not that different.
This is why I talk about the isekai and you don't.
I mean, I've read more isekai than you have, so I don't know why.
All right, let me start from the beginning. Isekai Maou is about this dude who's like, I'm playing this game and I role play as a demon lord. And then he goes to sleep one day and he's all like, oh, suddenly I've been summoned to this world by 2 chicks. And then they're like, we summoned you and now we're gonna put a slave pact on you. But then he's like, no, I got magic reflection. They're like, oh no, our slave magic backfired. And now the whole quest is about, hey, we don't know how to remove the slave magic. So now, that's the main goal.
I mean, it's not really a goal. It's
we're going
they're kind of stuck with each other, right? It's like, oh, well, this is.
Spire, shut up! I'm talking.
Okay, keep going.
Like, this is the problem. This is what my problem is with you right now. Like, I want to talk about the series. Now you're just glossing it over like you don't really want to. Do you want to talk about the series, or are you going to let me talk about it? Make up your mind. Make up your mind.
I just don't want you to give a second by second, like,
I'm giving a synopsis, then I'm going to talk about the series.
Okay, please make it brief. Okay, keep going. I said just make it brief. Yeah, go on.
See, now I have. Right after, where was I? Where was I?
Got stuck with the collar.
It was after they got stuck with the collar, and their main thing is that they need to get it off. Which I, to be fair, will agree. From with the brief amount that I've seen and watched, does seem that the main idea is that he did agree to help them fix it.
And then what happens next is that they gotta have more information about how to remove the slave collar, and then they get roped into wacky hijinks because they're now adventurers, and that's basically what the first first 5 episodes of the series so far is about. They get this whole arc about Rem, the cat girl, for 2 episodes, and then they got an arc about Shara, and how she's an elf princess and with her kingdom, and then there's another mini arc about Rem and demons, and now they went back. They went back.
No? Did they cover Crepscrim arc yet?
This is not what I'm talking about right now, Spire.
Okay.
And then there's another arc with Shara, where after the first part, now they're inciting war with the Elven Kingdom. And then we're about halfway through the series, and now there's a prelude where they actually talk about the slave magic, and that's about it. And the next episode's gonna be probably more stuff about Shara's problems with the Elven Kingdom. And that's the first 6 episodes.
Yeah. So again, a lot of the focus isn't really on like the slave collars themselves. They're more focused on like the girls and like their sort of individual problem. So the collar itself, in my opinion, I mean, it's not really an opinion, it's a fact, but it's just a tool used to bind cast together, which isn't really like, I'm not like, oh, well, that's a terrible mechanic in itself, like a plot device in itself. But it's not like, I'm not like impressed by it. I'm not like, oh man, these characters were really brought together by these collars. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's sort of what the one thing I did find interesting was this author isn't really afraid to kind of go for the fetishes. Like it kind of reminded me of C Cute, you know what I mean? Curse Cute, Cute Curse Curious, right? Where that author was like way deep into like the brainwashing, like gore, fantasy, fetish kind of stuff. But this author clearly isn't into that. But he's not like unwilling to kind of chuck that in whenever he needs kind of, more of that spice. You know what I mean? So that was a little bit interesting in my opinion when he decided to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, were there any variations in the isekai that you liked?
After watching the first 6 episodes, there are some problems that I have with the anime. One being that it just blew through about 4 arcs. 4 arcs like immediately.
Yeah, the issue is
they're overlapping in between. Like I've said before, we got the first arc with Rem, and she's talking about her problems. Next, we immediately switch to Shara and her elf problems. Then we go back to Rem, and oh no, demons are invading. Now we go back to Shara with more elf problems. It's been 6 episodes, and it's been a non-stop like flip-flop between these 2 main girls, which is fine and all, but there's been no, how should I say, a reprieve between these arcs.
I mean, there's been like no relaxing.
There's character development, but it's full of tension and whatnot. They need more time. That's what I have a problem with. Is that they need more time to have like daily interactions, like in a setting where there's not like combat, where these characters
oh man, I'm in trouble. No, I'm in trouble.
Where these characters can get to know each other and bond more as a party, and that's what's been lacking so far.
Yeah, I think there are small things that pop up a little bit more down the road that I think hasn't been covered in the anime yet. That definitely happens a little bit more, both in the adventure times, and they'll probably chuck in more. They have more of these. They don't have really side stories, but it's like there are like one or two repeats that do appear. But that's definitely I think it's
This is a problem with the source material in general because
yeah,
I
it
don't
is,
read
it is, it
I
is, it
don't read
is.
the light novel. I don't want to spoil myself, and I've just been reading the manga that goes along with it.
I mean,
But
the
from what I
manga
can
also is a
tell,
relatively straight ad. Yeah.
but from what I can tell, the with how the opening has been played, this will only cover the first, I want to say, 3 light
It might
novels.
it
It's
might
it
it
won't.
might it might it might go up until the end of the Krebs Scrum arc or the main Krebs Scrum arc,
And this
where
is already we're already what halfway through the series, halfway through 12 episodes,
yeah,
or is this
they're going to
24?
cover Krebs Scrum. I think they're going to end at Krebs Scrum. I think that's probably what they're aiming for, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a fault of the authors, and it's like a mixture of that plus the again, as you said, sort of how everything's kind of being mixed up and how the limitations of the 12 episode series is, right? Where it's like the author is also kind of doing this, not dumb necessarily, but this very standard thing of like, oh, okay, this arc is over, and we saved this kitten from the tree, and then this girl is kind of satisfied, but then this other girl is in trouble, on to the next volume or on to the next arc kind of thing, and that continues on Quadrophile, and then that is mixed with the fact that the anime, because it is 12 episodes, it has to truncate quite a bit, so it's very very hectic, probably. But yeah, I think
I guess I might be able to understand what the author is thinking. They're trying to build up this world with these skirmishes, but they're too many. Should have been like maybe one big one that
do you
lasted
think the
maybe
author
a
is
few
do you think
couple
the author
episodes, and
do you
then
think the author is focusing on the world building, or do you think it's mainly just making like a cast of characters and pretending there's a world? Because there is like the difference, right? I think the author is focusing a little bit more on just chucking in the characters
and that's the
than actually
problem with
building the world.
that's the problem I've had with the first couple of arcs, because
Yeah,
they're throwing us these problems one after the other, and like, chill out,
yeah,
man.
and it's like the only real sort of quote unquote build that they've gotten is like the chemical magic thing and like the chemical magic shit, right?
I don't know what
So,
you're talking about.
but it's like well, I don't know. They might not have covered. I feel like they should have, but they have
Hey,
like the chemical elemental magic. Chemical elemental magic.
what? No, they're up to the slave brothel part. That's it.
I'm not.
I don't know what you're talking about. They're
I
talking
feel
about
like
how they're with the slave trader, and we're like, oh, you gotta feel out the magic.
yeah, okay. So, but essentially, they don't really. I think other than, in my opinion, the Demon Lord's unique like powers and what he has, I think the author is not that focused on elaborating upon the rest of the world that much. He's just the author is just kind of like, yeah, these other people interact with the Demon Lord, and then there are challenges for him to beat. But a lot of the focus is on, like, in terms of details and trivia, a lot of the focus is on like he can do this, and then he has this treasure, he has this other treasure, he has this cash item or whatever it is. It's very like Overlord in that sense, but Overlord I think is a little bit better with building up the other people.
If you're going to throw the author in here, compared to his other work, Altina the Sword Princess,
Oh,
that
Altina, huh?
one is
Oh,
pretty good. That one has that one has way better world building characters compared to this. I've read somewhere that this one is more like his
side job,
side
yeah.
story stress relief thing, where he's like, I'm just gonna write whatever I want,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what this one feels like.
yeah. I think
He has more.
Altina,
This one has more
Altina is definitely
light-hearted
better.
characters and doing
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
yeah. Altina isn't the best, but Altina is definitely much better than this one is in terms of how things
this one's like maybe how do I put this? Baby overlord for Babs.
For Babs, yeah.
Sure.
I can see that.
And Altina the Sword Prince is like, hey, we're gonna do serious stuff, and you're gonna like it. And
I think the issue I kind of have with like the value I get out of reading or watching or consuming Isekai Mao, this specific franchise, is that a lot of like the I want to say the quote unquote reward / fan service value, right, is very pointed. Like it's like after the MC saves the kitten from tree, it's very sort of pointed at what it's going to, or it's very straightforward in like what it's going to deliver. And then you can also almost like hear it coming when he starts turning like tsundere and he starts having these monologues, and it's like, oh man, I want to say something nice or I want to say something sensible, but I have to be the demon lord. And then he says something that is very sort of like misleading or whatever, right? You kind of like smell when that's coming. And so
that's why I said it's over baby overlords, because in comparison to Momonga, that's his name, right? Momonga.
Yeah, Momonga. Yes.
He's a business. Is he a businessman? Or what's
I think he's a businessman. Yeah, he's like a salary man.
He's a salary man who has social skills and whatnot, and Diablo's like a neat.
Just like a gamer, yeah. He's like a
no
neat gamer.
social skills, whatever. So when you see him panicking, or you see Diablo panicking and like oh, what do I do? It's because he has no social skills whatsoever. So there's some humor into that. Whereas with Momonga, when he has these panic moments, it's because
he's like, it's like he's way deep in over his head essentially with these management things. Yeah, and that is for sure.
It's been mentioned that now that he's the, what is he, an elder lich? No.
Yes.
What's his class?
Oh, it's I know what you're talking about, but it's like
the
it's
Overlord
like
class, or he has this
necromancer class, but it's like super good or something like that.
Where he loses his humanity, so like the more
his emotions has a cap. But I think that way I like a little bit better. The neat thing is like the neat thing that Isekai Mao has is a little bit standard, but I would like it to. I don't actually even mind that. I'm gonna be real honest. I mean, you guys can call me degenerate, like Sessionis thing in chat. I don't even mind that at this point. What I kind of mind is the fact that everybody else around him kind of plays hard to get and slips it through. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, like when the Demon Lord or when the MC is like acting all like, Diablo, right? I guess I just remembered his name for some reason. But Diablo, he's like acting all tsundere. The author chooses to let the characters kind of slip that through their fingers and kind of leave that development to the next volume. Like if Diablo makes some sort of like tsundere romantic overtures or something like that, right? Or there's something where it's like, he says something nice or something like that. Instead of having the standard stuff come now, in terms of interactions, like their relationship grows closer, or like he gets access to this connection or whatever it is, right? The author punts that sort of development ball to the next volume, which kind of confuses because he's not like doing something different with it. He's just delaying it. So I don't really get that, in my opinion.
The point of this, what is it? This Demon Lord roleplay is that's supposed to be the humor of this series.
Yeah. I'm even okay with that. I'm okay with a Demon Lord character. I'm just not okay with the other members of the cast being like, oh, how do I interact with this character? Or even worse, at the end of the volume, when the girls are supposed to be interacting correctly with him and kind of reciprocating, his kindness or whatever, right? They're not really doing that. They're just like kind of delaying it. They're just like, yeah, he's nice, and then like and then they move on to the next volume, and then maybe they'll have increased relationship points or something like that. But it's a very delayed sort of time bomb thing going on there, which I'm not sure if I really appreciate that much, to be quite honest.
If you compare it to the Konosuba cast, it's because they're all idiots.
Yeah, I mean, with the Konosuba cast, at least in the later volumes going on right now, like everything's kind of going up fucking full Millhouse or Cosme, right? It's like everything is going very smoothly, except for whenever they have these adventures, right? So even with that, I can kind of live with, because it ended up being like people kind of ended up coming around, and it was pretty nice. But this one is this Isekai Maou one is a little bit iffy. But yeah. Anyways, that was a much longer tangent than I had anticipated. But any last words, Toast?
I still got a lot to talk about. That's your fault for going off ahead of me.
All right.
How would you? What would you say about the audiovisual?
Thank
because
you,
from
Dark.
what I've
because
seen,
that's what I was going to talk about.
Actually,
that's
I
what I was
going to
talk
pretty
about
okay.
next.
Yeah, it's
before Spire went on his whatever. It's your fault.
I mean, I would say that there is a lot to talk about with that, especially since it's one of the few series this season that has a censored and uncensored version airing simultaneously.
That is true. That's pretty funny, I actually thought. But anyways, you want to go on about the audiovisual stuff then?
Animation-wise, it's brighter than I thought it would be. Because I've only read the manga, for some reason I thought their colors would be darker, more subdued, but no, they're super bright. That's what kind of throws me off. I will have to say though, there's some weird mix of both old and new VAs in here.
I mean, that's
is that like first role?
Like
because
the main character, the main
Diablo?
Diablo's voice actor. I believe this is his first main role.
He might be. Yeah. That's probably his first main role. Although he probably has probably done like music.
I count him as new, and then Rem is, I think, also new.
No.
She doesn't have. She hasn't had many good roles.
No, what are you talking about?
I know she was Special Week. That's off the top of my head. And
no, it's because
wait, actually, isn't that it? Yeah, no, isn't that voice actress relatively new then? Because I think Special Week was.
She's not an old voice actor. She's a long-time voice actor. It's just that she's been making, she's been having a stable role as Sanae in the Cinderella Girls. She's, I don't know. She's essentially a part-time idol.
Well,
so in Idolmaster, she's an Idolmaster idol. So she doesn't really. She's probably had other roles, but she doesn't need to be fucking ferreting out all the time because she has this role, and it probably keeps her pretty busy.
So Rem's all right. Then there's, I definitely know for sure. Like, Shara is not a new one. That's.
Yeah, Serizawa Yu is pretty.
She's really prolific.
Well, she's not really prolific, but she's had solid roles for quite a while. So.
Sure.
And also, she's.
And then there's what's her name? The guild leader, the bunny. That's Ayane Taketatsu, and that.
No, that's Okubarumi, isn't it?
Is what? Really? I thought that was Ayane Taketatsu.
Wow, now you're doing it, dude. Now you're doing it.
I don't believe you. I do not believe you. She sounds too much like Ayane Taketatsu.
I'll check on Ayane. I mean, Ma could have made a mistake. I can believe that.
Wait a minute.
First time.
Give me a second to think.
No, it's Okubarumi. It is Okubarumi indeed.
She sounds like Ryder. Who's Ryder's voice actor?
Ryder?
From the only Ryder that's important.
No, I know what you're talking about. Asakawa Yu, apparently? No.
That's not the Ryder I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Fate Apocrypha Ryder. Astolfo.
Oh my god, that's not the writer I'm talking about. You say writer, and then you're like, Fate Apocrypha, though.
Yeah. Okay, like which one am I?
Because I know.
That's also Okubo Ruby, dude. Did you?
Okay. Yeah. What's wrong
Did you
with
think
me?
she was also?
Wow, she's good then.
Chinatsu,
Chinatsu, you've really evolved from Yuri Yuri. Good job.
Now I want to see a cosplay of Sachiko from Idolmaster, who is also voiced by Taketatsu Ayana, doing a cosplay of Astolfo or some shit.
What's wrong with me?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Anyway, and then there's Alicia, the night chick, and that's Yumihara. Obviously,
Yumihara.
she's prolific.
Most famous for Takane.
Then you have freaking Snake as what's the Feudal Lord? I think that's what they call him.
What?
Like dang, the Lord of the Town guy. It's freaking Snake. Otsuka Akio. Do you not know who Solid Snake is?
No, I know he is. Yeah, Galford. He's doing the town.
It's like when I hear them, it's they kind of intimidate the other cast. They drown them out.
Well, I mean, he's a very. I mean, he's he does what he does. He's a very prolific voice actor. I don't know what else to say, but yeah. There's definitely a bunch of heavy hitters in here. Not necessarily the ones that you've seen like every other
heavy hitters anymore. They're not the more prolific ones nowadays.
No, they're quite a.
Well, there's a difference between being a heavy hitter and being prolific.
Yes, that I can agree on. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. But I think I mean they're not like S tier voice actors or they're not like. So some of them are like.
I mean, are you calling Akio Otsuka not an S tier?
To bring up Metal Gear again,
yeah.
I would say a comparison would be something David Hayter. I would say David Hayter is not very prolific in the sense that he doesn't he doesn't get a ton of roles.
But he's Zangetsu
or he doesn't do a ton of
roles.
Yeah, he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to.
Yes. He doesn't need it. So how?
No, yeah, definitely. But yeah, couple of heavy hitters.
I'll give a shout out to the Diablo for actually sounding nice for his first main role. He's definitely no Esta.
The real see the funny thing is as soon as this guy becomes more like prolific or more heavy hitting, you can bet that around Nico Nico or YouTube you're gonna find like him in his early days doing like BLCDs because they all do that shit these days just to make money and stuff. So he's probably been making money off that or trying to subsist while he caught on to this main role, which is pretty nice, honestly. So yeah,
I will say though, the brown skinned demon girl, how is that Hideyoshi? I do not hear any Hideyoshi in it whatsoever.
Kata Emiri is very pretty talented. I mean, she did Hideyoshi, so I don't know.
And Hachikuji, what? I can't hear a trace of that.
Yeah, she's very talented.
As expected of one who's in the Engekibu.
But yeah, remember that she did both of these. Like when she was doing the Hideyoshi role, she also did Hideyoshi's sister Yuko, and she did them back and forth in same scenes and stuff. So she is very talented, and she does like a variety of roles. She does these sorts of roles, more like boyish roles. She has, I believe, done like Ojo-sama roles and stuff like that. She does in the past. She's very flexible. So, but anyways, again,
overall,
any last words?
Don't take it as seriously as some people do.
I mean, I'm not taking it seriously. It's just
this
not
definitely should be a lighthearted series with lots of itch fan service with big booby elves and flat-chested cat girls and big boob. I think dog.
Yeah.
They're dogs.
Well, I mean, not blow up myself in a way, but
yeah.
Well,
this is definitely not the overlord that you're looking for.
I don't know what you're about to say, so I'm not.
Well, what I was about to say is like when you're going into a series, I think an easy thing to look at is if you see those brackets that say censored or uncensored, you're probably not in for a very serious ride.
Yeah. I mean,
I think compared to that, I think the Galco censored one is a much funnier and more wholesome viewing experience than the uncensored one. You get to hear lots of yabai and crazy
Kitamura area also does.
It's pretty good.
Kitamura area and Ogura Yu also pretty much do a very good job carrying that series. But the thing is,
so are you saying this is the Hajimete no Gael of Isekai?
No, that's not even what I'm saying. But I think
that's what I'm saying.
I'm not
what I'm saying is
I'm not. Well, I think the series presents fan service. I'm not sure how much of it delivers properly. But
the biggest fan service part so far has been Cher's showing off her boobies and hugging Diablo.
I mean,
and she's eating saucers and like wow. But then we get to when we get to these slave dealer part, it's like whoa, you amped it up to 11, and I'm like here we go.
I think the author has like those sorts of more reprieve moments, but again, they're not really nearly as he's not really focused on it. A lot of time, even that sort of he has this segment, but then he kind of tries to scoop up the conclusion with a quick like comedy ender because of the awkward demon lord and stuff like that, which is like kind of neither here nor there. I think he could have just concluded at least one of these scenes pretty like decently without being like, oh, I'm such an awkward demon lord, I'm gonna spurg out. I don't think he needed to do that necessarily.
At least when when Diablo has his beta male moments, they are more understandable because he acknowledges them and he's like, what do I do in this situation? I don't get it.
I think
it's way better.
Okay.
It's way better than in some series where the main character is completely like asexual to his harem. I'm looking at you.
Infinite Stratos.
Sure.
But
I was gonna say cell phone.
Harem series.
Yeah.
I was gonna say cell phone and Death March.
Yeah.
Death March has the write off of him being I'm an adult. I don't like little girls.
But yeah, I think as in high school, did you change your life? Yeah, please. But yeah, I think in terms of presentation of the fan service, it does an okay job. I'm not sure
if it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. How do we say? It's not. I find high school DxD levels of we're in there. We're in there. Or it's definitely no.
Definitely not.
What's that one series Nitro Plus that Shinmai Maou? Yeah, there we go.
Shinmai Maou. Yes, you're bringing up very.
We're not Shinmai Maou with the teacher OVAs in there. But
Shinmai Maou was just like not even pretending to do anything else except that. But I think overall the presentation, I guess it is fine as Toast said, and then in terms of like the backbone of it, in terms of like the isekai, I wouldn't be too expectant of anything, but it's
a halfway cross.
It's a pitch down the line, and you're like, yeah, it's straight down the middle. Like
it's neither good nor bad. It
is there. It is a thing that's there. Yeah.
This isn't the overlord you're looking for, and this isn't the Konosuba you're looking for, and it's definitely not the. What's the one with the slave harem and he buys a dog girl one?
That is literally called Slave Harem in the Labyrinth of the Otherworld.
Yeah, it's not that. It's right in between, and it's fine that way.
Yeah. Definitely what Tuss said.
So my recommendation is that you watch it with an open heart and an open.
Yeah.
open chest.
I'm not open chest.
With
That's,
an open
that's
chest. Okay. Well,
just cut out your heart. Yeah.
It's
But
not.
yeah.
It's not a regrettable decision to watch this. Unlike, let's say, a cell phone or the upcoming Ari Furita. It's a good series to tide you over when you want to get what's the word, when you want to take a breather from the seriousness of Overlord, I guess.
Yeah,
It's showing
definitely.
the same season,
I would honestly suggest, if you're going to dive into it. I mean, again, this is a suggestion that shouldn't surprise anybody that has listened to me in any of the episodes of 4PA ever. But you should probably just read the light novel or web novel adaptation.
No, don't listen to Spire.
But yeah,
read the manga. My recommendations: read the manga. There's definitely some interactions in the manga that happen that flesh out some characters a bit more that the anime did not, because they did have to speed through it. So yeah, I'll rate it I'll give it 78 points out of 100.
damn.
Yeah,
it's a high score. How does that compare to Maou?
Well, what is the Maou score?
I don't know. Maou, by the way, gave Tsukumogami like a 6.2, which is fucking horseshit. But what else is new?
Isekai Maou is 7.46. Oh, I'm close.
Anyways, again, thank you, Toast.
In comparison, I rate Knights and Magic an 89.6 out of...
Knights and Magic is definitely better than this, although again, it kind of starts panning out.
That's because Knights and Magic is pure pandering fan service.
No. I'm okay. I'm okay with the engineering part of it. The other part of it, the adventure part of it, I'm not Gucci about that. But we've already talked about that.
But yeah, if you for some reason you don't like Isekai Maou and fan service, like what's wrong with you? Go read Altina the Sword Princess, then, you freaking nerd.
Yeah, if you want to try out some of the other works by this author, do check out Altina the Sword Princess. It is a little bit more serious than this. But anyways, thank you, Toast, again, for helping cover Isekai Maou.
No, thanks to you.
Shoukan, Shoujo, Dorei, Majutsu.
20 minutes of whatever.
Okay, so what do you all think of the Monster Girl Quest OVA?
Which one?
I don't think anyone here has watched.
There was episodes. Oh, the OVA.
You talk about like.
Oh, I'm thinking Monster Girl Quest, not. Wait, Monster Girl Quest is the one with Kenko Cross, right?
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah,
but wasn't that released last year?
Yeah, that's old. Episodes.
Isn't this?
How many episodes were there? 2? Or was it 3? I know I watched 2 episodes.
Are you talking about the 2017 version? Because I think. I mean, this is just like hentai OVA, but look, the source material for Monster Girl Quest, which is based on like Monster Girl Encyclopedia, right, which is by Kenko Cross, right? I mean,
did you play the game, Spire?
No, I only read the Encyclopedia stuff.
Oh.
But it was like all the corruption bullshit half the time, right? Too with Kenko Cross, but I mean, Kenko Cross made it very clear that it was more or less like what he wrote in terms of like the canon. I can't believe I'm talking about the canon of Monster Girl Encyclopedia. What are you talking about? Like the canon part of Monster Girl Encyclopedia? A lot of it was more or less a jumping board for his and other people's power fantasy that also included Monster Girls. You know what I mean? So it was like literally in the preface of Monster Girl Encyclopedia. It's like,
what do you mean by power fantasy?
Yeah, let me explain. It was like he starts out like explaining how Monster Girls are in this situation, and it's like the Monster Girls, the monsters of these other races don't have guys, right? So, or they don't have males, right? They have to like all run around and like have to mate with like the humans in order to even survive. So this sort of sets up this thing where it's like he sort of implies that we're in this world where the Monster Girls are essentially jumping the bones of pretty much every like human male that they come across, right? So this this is like essentially a jumping board for this sort of fantasy where it's like I'm a dude, and then I can just, get it on with any monster girl that I come across, that sort of thing. And then afterwards, a lot of it's just like relatively, basic descriptions of what's going on with monster girls. So in terms of like the source material, I mean, the OVA is just so OVA.
I'm no degenerate, okay? So I never watched it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I actually do know what you're talking about. I didn't know
I
they
thought
You
made
just
an
didn't
OVA
want
of
to.
it,
You just
though.
didn't want to talk about it.
Because I
I didn't
remember
know they made an OVA.
I've seen both of them. It's okay. I like number 2
I have
better.
not seen the OVAs, but I have.
Two is better because it has the slime girl and the succubus queen. What's her name?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Half the time,
They have
aren't they just
names?
named?
Yeah,
It's like succubus or something.
for the 4 heavenly kings, there's the dragon girl, and there's the slime girl, and then there's the succubus queen. I like that one better.
But yeah,
Spire, the whole point of Monster Girl Quest is that when the demons are oppressing the humans, that's not power fantasy. That's standard. Demon kings are taking over the
totally
world.
standard.
That's how, yeah.
That's totally
Look,
standard.
we could have a pretty long discussion on power
No.
fantasy and how
Look, Dark. It's totally standard fantasy when as a human male, any monster girl that you come across just wants to jump your bones. That's completely natural.
I know it's no, I mean like it's typical to see something like that at this point.
Well,
but what I think is to not go off on the tangent of fucking power fantasies for too long.
Yeah.
And because I hate talking about that in a serious manner because I don't know, I just think people make way bigger of a deal about the implications of having power fantasies, but the idea is never that a power fantasy has to mean that the protagonist is actually somewhat in power. The power fantasy doesn't have to relate to the characters. It relates to who's writing it and how you're actually consuming.
Yeah, exactly.
So just because a character is like, getting fucking stepped on by a monster girl doesn't make it any less of a power fantasy when you have 500 other ones that are like, I want to get some of that too.
Yeah, so, and if it's again, I think the main confusion is that it's not first person, or that is not in the conventional writing, but it's like the reception of how the disparity is, right? Like who's getting what, right? Isn't like obvious. Like the hero isn't getting everything, so that's not how it works. But it's like it's obviously implied that if this world were to exist and we were still ourselves, we'd be going around, we'd be, boning monster girls all day, right? That would be a thing that would happen in this world, and that's sort of fulfillment of our desires, of unattainable desires, by some sort of absurd, I want to say, leap of plot writing. is where I'm coming from. So, but yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on the Monster Girl Encyclopedia canon.
So again,
we need to move on to use
the Monster Girl Encyclopedia cinematic universe.
Yes, we're gonna have Thanos delete all of the monster males. That's how it works. But anyways, we're gonna move on.
Okay.
To news.
If you're gonna watch the OVA, episode 2 is better, because episode 2 has the succubus hell, I think.
Listen to Toast. I haven't watched either.
And the crab girl with like eight arms. She's pretty cool.
Yeah. Listen to Toast. I have no experience with OVAs, and I renounce anything beyond reading the basic descriptions. But yeah. Anyways, on to the first piece of news that we have is, here we go. So, Singapore-based company Blockpunk announced last month that it's rebranding its crypto anime initiative under the name Block Studios. Blockpunk also announced that it has signed content distribution deals with Kazuto Nakazawa and Takeshi Shimizu. So, it's a couple of producer directors. Blockbuster launched crypto anime in April to allow users to buy and sell digital artwork using cryptocurrency. The website touts the platform as a way to quote-unquote empower creators to fund, merchandise, and stream their content directly to fans. So essentially, it uses cryptos to pretty much do everything in terms of like payment and having fans get direct input, and then using the same sort of device that the cryptocurrencies are stored on. They essentially allow people to get direct access to what kind of content creators are making. So that's sort of how it works. It's essentially all working on the same sort of blockchain machine or blockchain network, excuse me. But yeah, it's all running on crypto now, and we know how well that works. So,
dude,
looking forward.
Crypto isn't the bubble; it's the needle.
It's
okay?
The future.
Crypto is the needle. All right, it's gonna pop the bubble.
Yeah. But yeah, if you are interested in crypto and you're interested in anime, it's kind of like, I guess, get into it, but depending on what you want, I guess, because it's probably going to be limited for now, even if it does succeed, right, in terms of like who's actually contributing to it. So that's kind of neither here nor there at the end of the day. Next piece of news, a pretty funny one. Actor Ben Schwartz, who did stuff like DuckTales, Parks and Recreation, confirmed on Thursday that he is voicing the title character in Paramount Pictures' upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog film.
I don't know who that is. What does he voice?
He did stuff in DuckTales, apparently. I don't know who he voiced, though. The live-action / CGI hybrid film is slated to open on November 15th, 2019. James Marsden...
That soon? Oh my god, it's real. Like, it's actually going to happen.
Yeah. James Marsden and Tika Sumpter will star in the film, and Jim Carrey will voice the villain Robotnik.
I'm okay with it.
I'm actually okay with Jim Carrey voicing Robotnik.
But wait, if he's voicing Robotnik, so it's not gonna be like Jim Carrey in like a really awkward suit.
It's not live action, thank God.
That'd be so
good.
No,
it said live action animated hybrid though.
Yeah,
okay, so he's gonna be live action then, and Sonic's gonna be CG.
No, it's gonna be like The Mask, but it's like Jim Carrey's just gonna wear Robotnik like CGI on his face.
I'm okay.
That's what I'm saying.
That'd be so good. Oh my god. But yeah, anyways, blah, 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 other details about the film. I hope this goes... Okay, this is definitely... Like, the memes are already going to be there. Like, we can already see coming on the event horizon. But I wonder if it's actually going to be, like, tolerable.
Is it going to be the best video game movies ever made?
Ever made, yeah. That's what I'm thinking,
It's
honestly.
not true. That already falls to the Warcraft movie, my friend. Okay.
I watched it. It's kind of lame. It's not as good as the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh my! Oh, actually, all right. Listen, real talk.
I like that movie.
The beginning of the Super Mario Brothers movie was actually really good.
I know.
Anyways, so if you're interested in that, again, it's coming out in November 2019. So get ready. Next, more on the Hayao Miyazaki front. The Godfather, apparently of anime.
Oh, now I know who Ben Schwartz is. He's that weirdo from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, so
now I have a thing for his voice.
Yeah. Anyways, Studio Ghibli producer Toshio Suzuki revealed during a promotional event for his non-fictional book Minami no Kuni no Kanyada Sunday that Hayao Miyazaki's upcoming Kimitachi wa Dou Ikiru, or also known in English as How Do You Live, feature film will open in quote-unquote about 3 or 4 years. Suzuki also noted that the film has been in production for 2 years and that the studio is doing things in the film that it could not do before.
Wait, like CG?
Didn't these same producers also say that it was unsure if Miyazaki kept working on it for more than like 2 years?
So yeah, but I mean, Miyazaki also retired 8 times, so.
Yeah. So is it like if he dies during this, do they just like say like we're gonna channel? They're gonna start like channeling the ghost of Miyazaki or some shit to like finish? Like, okay. But yeah, again, he said that at April 2017 when he did an interview, Suzuki said at the time that Miyazaki has only drawn 20 minutes of storyboards so far. So, not exactly, and it started in 2016. So, I'm not exactly a big believer of how well this is gonna turn out. Although I think I do really like the premise of the original material, but I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about this movie. I'm gonna be real honest. We'll see how it goes. What else is there? Oh, this is another funny one that's I just want to point out. This year's 35th issue of Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump magazine revealed last week that Bandai Namco Online is developing a PC browser game titled Naruto Boruto Borutical Generations.
Nice.
The quote-unquote large co-op shinobi battle RPG is slated to launch this year and will be free to play with options to purchase in-game items. The game will be available through the Yahoo game service.
What the fuck? So I'm so Naruto browser games confuse the fuck out of me because the real ones
I can't tell the real ones from the fake ones.
Yeah, you can't tell which one's real, which one's fake. I've seen these advertisements on fucking on Crunchyroll for Naruto browser games, and I'm like, wasn't this on a fucking torrent site? I thought this was I thought this was fake. No, that's the real one.
Yeah.
What's
exactly.
Borutical mean?
That's a very good question, Toast. That is a very good question.
When a mommy Naruto and a daddy Naruto like each other very much.
Boruto. Boruto is the daddy now. Yeah. Anyways, if you like not rip off Naruto browser games, I guess, and you think Borutical is an actual word, and you like Yahoo games for some reason in 2018, check this out.
Get some help.
First and foremost. And the last one is Harvey Awards. So the Harvey Awards, which honors outstanding work in comics and sequential art, revealed its list of nominations for this year's awards on Thursday. This year's awards include a new Best Manga category, along with 5 other new categories. First nominees for Best Manga include, and this one I'm gonna kind of talk about a bit afterwards, but it's My Brother's Husband, Ototo no Otto, by Genguro Tagame.
Is that the one where that dude moves in with what?
It's the gay one with the kid, slice of life, yeah. My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia, by Kohei Horikoshi. My lesbian experience with loneliness, or Sarishi Sugite Lesbian Fuzoku ni Ikimashita Report, by Kabi Nagita. I don't know why I pronounced lesbian regularly, but report not. But that's another question. Tokyo Ghoul by Sue Ishida, and Your Name.
Finally, an adult series.
By Takashi Shinkai.
This is some weird nominations. You got 2.
No, it's pretty obvious. I mean, well, it's not. It's weird, but it's obvious how they were selected. You know what I mean? But because both of these are about LGBTQ ones that aren't the obvious.
Are you calling Boku no Hero Academia LGBTQ?
Yeah.
I don't know the acronym anymore.
LGBTQ.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for any. I'm very sorry for LGBTQ people that.
Shout outs to Games Done Quick. I like you. I like you guys.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, we apologize to those people out there, but yeah, it's pretty obvious that these guys, they had the judges that awarded towards, first of all, people that don't really know anything about manga, right? Because they just were like, oh, Boku no Hero Academia or Tokyo Ghoul or Kimi no Na wa manga adaptation, blah blah blah. It's they just picked whatever was hot at the time, and then they also picked the LGBTQ ones. So it's not very good, but I just thought it was a little bit interesting how this was done. But I hope that in the future they'll pick better judges and actually, pick more interesting series that aren't stuff like Tokyo Ghoul and Kimi no Na and a manga adaptation. That'd be really nice.
Does it really count if they're movies? You can't just you can't give a movie a manga adaptation and be like, oh, this is the best manga I've ever read ever. That's not
I agree.
I agree with you as well. I think stupid.
I think the biggest thing is that it's not even like creative at this point, right? Because it's like you might as well just go watch the movie.
I mean, have you seen these? They're like the anime versions of anime. Does that count as manga?
Oh, please, God.
I mean, listen, dude, I'm working on this hot new adaptation. I think it's going to be the best horror manga ever made. It's called The Thing. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. Ask me. I have it all up in my noggin right now.
Yeah, all these new ideas, dude.
All these new ideas. We're ready to hit the paper.
It's just this manga about dinosaurs in a park, and then like the velociraptors go and get loose. Like
they're like really smart though.
Yeah. Have you heard of this manga called Infinity War? Yeah. I heard that's pretty good.
Pretty popular manga.
Pretty popular. But yeah, if you're in, I hope again these awards become better next year. But those two series about LGBTQ, again, Japan known for having a very conservative culture, might be pretty interesting, honestly, to read if you want to check them out.
There's nothing very wrong good. With the Metafish is good. No, that's kind of weird. That's kind of.
They're apparently very good.
They won the Harvey Award, so.
But also, Toast coming out here swinging. There's nothing wrong with gays.
There's nothing wrong with the gays, guys.
The sizzling take.
There's nothing wrong.
Very controversial in 2018.
The real tech is when we get Toast to say there's nothing wrong with the Jews. This is when everything goes downhill.
Oh my God!
Have you seen Saint Nissan? That guy's pretty cool.
But yeah. Anyways, just a little bit of people news before I go on to Shoutouts Callouts. This one is going to be of interest to Toast. Wakana Otaki of singing unit Calafina announced on Saturday during the Calafina Wakana Ryu Masaki Symphony Concert with Orchestra di Roma Italia event at the Tokyo Opera City Concert Hall that she will launch her solo career with a solo concert tour starting on September 24th in Tokyo, Japan at the EX Theater. So she's going to start up her solo, Wakana Calafina is going to start up her solo career. Singer Keiju Kuboto left the female singing unit Calafina on April 1st. The official website had revealed that the other two singers, Wakana and Hikaru Masai, will continue to work on the split. So Wakana is now just like fully just being like, you know what, I've had enough with this pretense. I'm just doing a full solo thing as quickly as possible. So probably that's how it works.
You know how Calafina's some songs have like 3 singers singing in tandem with each other? It's gonna be like 1/3 of a song.
You mean a regular song? But
like,
yeah.
Like Calafina has that like orchestral
quality?
Is that the word?
Choir?
Yeah, choir, that's the word. Choir-like thing, because there's 3 of them singing at the same time. There's only one of them, so...
Yeah, it is going to be very... I mean, it's not...
I have no idea how this is going to sound.
No, it's not really going to be a thing anymore, right? But it's very unfortunate that the split up happened in the way it did. But hopefully, again, best of luck to her solo career, Wakana, and please, listen to her if you like her voice. The next piece of news, person news. Anime film and tokusatsu producer Takao Asaga passed away on June 16th at the age of 61. So he primarily worked as producer on anime like Rikyo Tokatsu Jigoku, Oh My Goddess, Battle Angel, Wedding Peach, Golden Boy, Legends of Basara Tohar, a lot of big series. Yeah, Quasar Stigmata, Gate, Monster Musume, and This Corner of the World, Sword Art Online Original Scale, and Sword Oratoria. Is it wrong? Sword Oratoria Danmachi. But yeah, very big producer. Again, condolences to his friends and family. Next piece of news. Talent management company Arts Vision announced on Monday that voice actor Yuichiro Umehara has been discharged from the hospital. The agency said that Umehara will slowly return to work, but the agency will continue to take his physical condition into consideration. But yeah, he did he did most recently Darling in the Franxx one, who did the sidekick, right? In Darling in the Franxx.
Let's like just not talk about that,
Yeah,
please.
he did.
So was he the darling or the Franxx in that series?
I'd say we're all the darlings by the end.
I thought we were all the Franxx, but yeah.
Franxx Red Hot.
Yeah, he did. You know, a lot of recent series. Senjushi or Thousand Musketeers. Tadakun Koyo Shiranai or Tadakun Never Falls in Love. He was actually replaced by Tomokazu Sugita. That's fucking weird. Happy Sugar Life and Caligula, and you know he did a lot of different stuff. But yeah,
being replaced by Sugita is like saying you're a B-list actor.
What did you get replaced by Sugita in?
Tada Never Falls in Love or Tadakun Koyo Shiranai, right?
Fuck, when did Sugita show up in that scene?
now you're like having doubts. You're like, wait a minute.
You know that redneck meme was like this guy does.
Wait, what character? I need to know. Hold on, what character?
It's in the link for the news.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to check that in a sec. Yeah, all right.
He replaced Hajime Sugimoto, the glasses guy.
You know that meme where there's like the redneck
by the end of that series?
Yeah, he's actually much more talented in voicing younger characters than people think. Sugita actually had the part in had a talk at a radio show. No, actually he was talking with this younger voice actress. Actually, it might have been Sao Miyuki he was talking about at the time, but he was talking with her, and I mean now, but back then she was very young. But he was talking about how he did like a very early series with her, and he was doing that along with some other guy who was like a much younger. You might even think it was like Nobunaga Shimazaki that he was working with, and obviously at that time Nobunaga was also very, very young. So he was doing the sort of like guy like not high school like academy like boys role, but he was playing a character that was like 10 years younger or like 10-15 years younger than he was. So it's like he's trying to do like a really like young active voice. But yeah, Sugita is very talented. Again, probably don't need to say that.
Another hot take, dude.
Hot takes. But yeah, that's that. And one last thing. Sorry. The official Twitter and Facebook pages of shoujo manga creator Akino Mimura announced on Monday that Mimura passed away on Monday at the age of 60. Mimura debuted with Watashi no Riso no Anata-sama in Kodansha's Best Shoujo Friend magazine, so she was a shoujo writer in 1977. She's best known for her School Days and Densetsu no Shoujo manga. In addition to Best Shoujo Friend, Mimura works ran in Kodansha's Me, Mimi, and Be Love magazines. Again, and condolences to her friends and family. And with that, we are done with the news, and we are on to our shoutouts and callouts. But yeah, or actually, I have to introduce it, right? Shoutout is one thing that you want to compliment. 10 out of 10, 5 stars on Yelp, and it can be any one thing, person, place, continent, whatever it is. And call out is the exact opposite, 0 out of 10, flame, insult, hate, whatever. And it can also be any one thing, person, or place. And everybody gets one shout out and everybody gets one call out. So Dark, take it away.
All right. So I'm pretty prepared for this time. So both of my shout out and call out are going to be from EVO 2018. And my shout out is going to be to Harada and Tekken 7 because season 2 not only looks really cool, really good. Like the changes look awesome. Like that's insane. Like season 2 of the game, you're putting in mechanics like wall bounces and shit. That's nuts.
That wasn't that also in like KOF or something like that? But it's still really cool that they're adding it in like Tekken or something.
Yeah, like that. But I mean, in general, like that's kind of wild that like season 2 is getting like mechanical changes you would expect in like like from an Xrd to a Rev 2 or something like
that.
Or Xrd to Rev.
Yeah.
But primarily the Negan announcement. As someone who doesn't really watch Walking Dead but does know who Negan is. I just like the idea that I get to see splash art that says Tekken 7 cross The Walking Dead. That's insane. I think it's really funny. I think all the people that are mad that it's not Kiryu from fucking Yakuza, it's like, yeah, okay, so they could have done shit with his stances and whatnot, but it's like, who cares? We have Lei Wulong anyway.
Why not bring in Asuka from Senran Kagura or something?
In Tekken?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that either. Like honestly, the
Can we have
weird
Kirito
crossovers
in
are what
Tekken?
I want. Yeah, I mean, honestly, fine.
Kirito versus Noctis.
I would like. I want the weird crossovers for Tekken 7.
I mean, honestly, I don't think there's any. I don't know why. Okay, so what I don't get is like why people are always like there are some games I can get, but like with Tekken, there's literally there's like everybody's just all over the place, and like in the first place, anyways, right? Like it's not like they're not really connected. You know what I mean? Like none of these characters are all like oh fucking like in like Kazuya's story, like the main story, he's not like constantly fighting like Brian or anything like that. You know what I mean? So
yeah, they all have like loose connections. Like there's some shit where it's like for Eddie Gordo, it's like he was like his dad was like killed by Kazuya or something, or like Mishima in general.
But they're not. But I think like
it's not. Yeah, it's not like Eddie Gordo is standing there like.
What's up?
Kazuya?
Yeah, it's
like, no, Eddie Gordo is just
over the lava.
fucking guy. Like,
yeah, but I think it's to say that like Negan doesn't like fit like or something like that. I think that's like a little bit like at the end of the day, like most of the time they're just like they don't like most of the time they don't even have like good intro quotes or anything like that, right? It's like
if Akuma is canon in Tekken, why can't Negan be canon?
I mean, they don't even need
Isn't
to be canon, right?
Yeah, because
aren't all the crossover characters? No, I mean Negan.
No.
Doesn't Negan technically have to be canon now? Because Noctis, I think, is too.
No. Noctis and Geese don't have parts in the story, right?
Yeah, but they do. He gets a call. Noctis gets a call, and he's all like, whatever.
No, Spire means the actual story mode.
Yeah.
No, they don't because they were added much after as well.
Yeah, exactly. But I think again.
But I mean, like Noctis, like it was an intro for him where he gets a call and shows up.
The trailer, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
At the end of the day, I don't think
said
it
that
really
the guest
needs
characters
to.
are technically canon.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, it's just like they're just guest characters. It's like in Tekken,
my whole thing is too is like that's fun, man. Like it's fucking stupid as shit. Like that's great.
Yeah.
I hope Negan fell into a time warp caused by the Devil Gene, and he's all
everybody.
Like,
I
just like part of me just kind of hopes that like Tekken 7 tries to say like The Walking Dead is just happening in the States.
Kazuya just gets run over by a zombie apocalypse or some shit. But yeah, no. The reason why he had to blast that satellite is to fuck with the zombies. It's like, but yeah, a bunch of people were like, I hope Negan like leaning back. It's like a fucking stance. That'd be
so good.
Yeah. But anyways, Kala.
My call out is going to be to both Sonic Fox and the people that support him. Because I don't like him. I think as like one of the best fucking Dragon Ball Fighter Z players in the world, to pull bullshit like, oh, I want to switch sides during this finals. You know, that's always been a rule, right, guys? And everyone's like, yeah, it's always been a rule. It's like, yeah, it always has been a rule. How many times has it been done? Guess what? It doesn't, because it doesn't fucking matter. And the only reason why you do it is to ice your opponent. Yeah. And now, so regardless of whether or not, you know,
Dark, it's mind
like
games.
Sonic Fox.
Yeah. The mind
Sonic
games.
Fox. Yeah, Sonic Fox is obviously fucking good at Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Like he's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Easily. He wouldn't be up there otherwise. But to me that makes it even worse. It's like you're gonna go up there and you're gonna pretend like fucking your side actually mattered that game. Like you're getting crossed up in a 5-minute match. Your side doesn't fucking mean anything.
I think the most unfortunate thing for that was that match didn't. It wasn't even the fact that it iced Koichi so much as it was that it reset Sonic Fox to playing his standard game, and at that point in time, like before Evo, when people were coming in, people who saw like what was happening in the tournaments and stuff like that, they were like, yeah, Sonic Fox is like the clear favorite to come in and just kind of win everything, if he plays consistently at his like standard game. But it was very unfortunate because it was in doing that sort of thing, it was obvious that it was seen as a sort of like fuck you move to Goichi, which is like just you could have literally just been like sat down and taken a breath mint to like reset your game, and the results would probably have been very, very similar. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, even like if whether they were similar or not, or whether like I think in general that entire situation, like doing that is no matter what a fuck you to Goichi. Like it's not like it's not even just for him to collect himself, because it's like okay, so it was more him collecting himself than it was to ice Goichi.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if you're in the final and you're in winner, Goichi was in loser, and Goichi resets, and then you're like, I need to collect myself, like. Fuck you. You don't get a timeout. You were in winner. Your timeout was the fact that you only needed to win 3 times, whereas Goichi needs to win 6.
Yeah.
So it's like in general to me, it's like that's
it's the same. You remind me of those things where it's like people actually complain about like it's like what is it? It's like double elimination isn't punishing enough. Like people should get like an extra win match from the winner's side or something like that. And it's like no, if they're coming up from the loser's side, they still have to work pretty hard. Like they're not. It's not like they don't get punished enough or something like that. That's not a thing.
Yeah, it's like you can't act like being from fucking losers is some like miraculous second chance. Like, well, thank God. It's like no, you have to fucking you have to win 6 rounds against someone who has not had to play as many games as you tonight because of how well they did. So it's like. So it's like not only have they played less matches, they performed better than you in the matches they played. So that's what you're up against. So if they start choking, that's their fucking fault. They don't get a timeout.
Yeah. But anyways, that was very unfortunate what happened, but it is behind us now. But
I look forward to him doing it again.
I think
or something else to make people be like, wow, he's a piece of shit, because he hasn't not. So clearly, this is a theme.
Yeah. But anyways, I guess I'll go next. I'll do my call out first. My call out is definitely to fucking Steam, because Steam has been fucking up a lot for me. And then also, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really want to show up Monster Hunter World, but I still want to play it. But I'm guessing that the Monster Hunter World stuff is all connected to Steam service, right? So I can't really like.
I mean, it also has de novo, so good luck.
Oh yeah, I forgot that bullshit. Yeah,
it's like you might be able to crack it. You're probably still not gonna be able to play it online, no matter what.
Yeah. But I really want to play it, but it's unfortunately out of my reach. So I'm gonna blame Steam anyways. As for my shout out, actually my shout out is going to be a little bit of a sarcastic one in a sense. It's going to be to the people who like, DM me and like need counsel about like, and this is not just one person, it's been actually a couple of people, but ask me about fighting game stuff, and I have to balance between being a bad cop and being a fucking therapist for them, like an emotional therapist or some shit. And while it is not the greatest unpaid job in the world, they still give me a lot of laughs. So thank you guys for providing me a lot more memes, I guess, to go on. So that's my shout out. Toast. Toast is dead.
Hello? Toast?
What?
Shout out, call out.
My call out is to the skunk that sprayed my dog. Still, that.
Jesus Christ.
Skunk smell isn't that smelly as I thought it would. It's not like mustard gas smelly.
Isn't it? Isn't it like? Well,
but
obviously, it's not like weapon. It's not like an actual weapon. It's like pretty bad, right?
It's an oil. It's oil based, so when you smell it, it gets stuffy and fills your lungs with stink. And it's
Also,
really hard to
I'm
get
gonna
out.
guess that. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that it's pretty gonna be bad because it's like you'll probably get like habituated to it, and then you won't be able to notice whether the skunk stink is still on you until like somebody is like, oh, it's still a little bit on you. You know what I mean? Because it was so strong. Yeah, that's probably a problem. Anyways, shoutouts.
My shout out was actually to this one game that I played that I can't remember the name of.
Monster Hunter World.
I got it for $7.31 at DL site, and I have.
Oh, deal! You got a game from DL site. That's pretty brave, honestly.
Oh,
is it the one that you were posting pictures about? Like you got the 100% router or whatever it was?
Yeah, for a game that's under $8, it was an 8-hour playtime, and that's like casually.
What?
100%. I mean, it was pretty cool.
I'm not sure if I should ask because it is still DL site, and I don't trust anything that's not like I want to say.
But Baku no Himekishi, it's not that.
Anything that's not like a dojin or like voice like stuff, I don't really. DL site is a little bit sketch, but yeah, I'd be interested in seeing the link at least.
No, I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, okay.
It's not it's not appropriate for this podcast.
Children.
We don't talk about hentai in here.
Yeah.
No after the 20-minute conversation.
No.
Fucking...
Near may be listening. I'm not supposed to talk about it, but
we can't hurt his Canadian sensibilities.
Shout out to Circle. I'll just name the Circle.
Yeah.
Huki Damari. Shout out you guys. You guys make long games.
Long games. Wow. Money. Okay. So yeah, check that out. I guess from Toast. Shout out.
Check out that Dojin Circle. They're pretty sweet.
Yeah. But anyways,
Session says shout out to Dead Cells. I don't know what anime. I haven't seen that anime.
Yeah. But anyways, with that we are done. Again, this is episode 99.5. Again, I apologize profusely for not being able to get you episode 100 to all the viewers and listeners out there. We will be on track with episode 100 next time I guess, although Nier should be able to recover in 2 weeks unless he dies or something. When we have episode 100 out and we are able to get stuff out at a stable pace. And so we'll do a special episode 100 next episode. So watch out for that. Again, we're going to be going up probably full out 60 miles per hour. So watch out for that. And if you do like what we do, please follow us here. Twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast, where we live stream our recording every other Saturday starting for 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're talking about the latest and greatest in anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and all sorts of other Japanese animation media. And yeah, usually we have one person as per usual, but unfortunately not join us. But that is neither here nor there. Again, if you like us, follow us here. Follow us on social media, Facebook, and Twitter at 4PPAnimeCast. Starts with the number 4. 4PlayerAnimecast.moe is our website where we have our content. And yeah, episode 100 coming up. And we'll see you next time.